Hey everyone, coming back to you with a first Sliver's food chain deck. I want to tell you why I think food chain is a better deck than General Tazri for first Sliver. So let's start off with the basics. Food chain, the combo. Remove a creature you control from the game, add X mana of any color to your mana pool, where X is a removed creature's converted mana cost +1. Then you may use that mana to cast creature spells. You'll use this in tandem with cards like Squee, who you may cast from graveyard or exile. The idea is you cast the card Squee, you exile for red mana with Food Chain, producing one extra red mana. You'll then have when you cast him again. And you'll continue to do this and build up an additional mana each time until you have infinite red. Then you can move on to making infinite blue, infinite green, infinite white and black, so on and so forth. The reason why I like Squeeze so much is because you can use other things to tutor for him, like Entomb, which then you search your library for a card and put that card into your graveyard. Some other good tutors for creatures that can be cast from exile is Extract. Extract lets you search target player's library for a card and remove it from the game. One of the good things that makes Extract versatile is that if you have another way of getting your creature like Squee to your hand, graveyard, or exile, you can then use it on an opponent's deck to get rid of their win con if you can know their deck pretty well. So what does the commander do? The commander has Cascade. We're not going to worry about the second part, but if you don't know what Cascade is, when you cast a spell, exile cards on the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost, put the exiled cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. A good thing to know about this ability is that you do not have to cast the card, and it will get shuffled back in with the rest of your cards if you choose not to cast it. A very important feature we'll see soon. So what's the win con with this deck? The win con is, as you might have been able to guess it from the bottom of the screen, Laboratory Maniac. If you would draw a card when your library has no cards in it, you win the game. I think all of us know Labman pretty well, and he's in most food chain decks because most food chain decks run cards like Demonic Consultation and Tainted Pact, which allows you to search for a card while exiling a ton of extra cards, hopefully exiling Squee or Eternal Scourge at the same time when you're looking for your food chain, so you can play food chain, play your creature, and win the game. But because all these decks have Demonic Consultation, Laboratory Maniac is often run in them, because if you play Lab Maniac and at the beginning of the upkeep of your next turn you respond by playing Demonic Consultation and you name a card not in your deck. So Demonic Consultation says name a card, exile the top 6 of your library, then reveal cards from your top of your library until you reveal the named card. So what happens if you don't find the named card, so you name something ridiculous, you'll exile your whole library. Then when you go to draw with Lab Maniac out, you win the game. So why am I making him the win con over other options? Well, the other options I had thought about, since you're having infinite cast triggers with Squee or Eternal Scourge, is you could go a Storm, and you could go Storm with something like Grape Shot, which deals 1 damage to any target, copy it for each spell cast before it. Now, Grape Shot is a great option because it can be used early game as well as be your win con. However, because Lab Maniac is already a card most decks have, I decided it'd be more card efficient or slot efficient to keep it as the main win con, because so many of the other cards that are normally in the deck play as good safeguards towards this, towards Labman win cons. What do I mean by this? So, just a good competitive cards like Noxious Revival and Pool from Eternity are cards you already might be wanting to run. Pool from Eternity, you put target face-up card that's removed from the game into its owner's graveyard. Usually decks will choose to run this if they want to have a backup in case Food Chain gets exiled. However, say your Laboratory Maniac is the one who's exiled, you can then use Pool from Eternity to put it back in your deck to look for it to win the game. Then you have things like Noxious Revival. You can either use it on an opponent's graveyard if they're trying to reanimate a creature or cast something with flashback, or not while they're casting it, but if they're choosing to target it for flashback with like a Snapcaster Mage. But anywho, or you can use Noxious Survival to put Labman back on top of your deck to cast and so on and so forth. So how does so we see that there's some versatility in getting your Labman back in case something bad happens to it. But how does the win con actually occur? Because First Sliver is able to choose which cards you cast, you can cycle through your deck, casting them with Food Chain, and then exiling to cast them again to have infinite cascade triggers. Eventually, on one of those cascade triggers, you'll choose to cast Laboratory Maniac. Then, on a secondary cast trigger of Cascade, you're going to find Hapless Researcher, who says sacrifice, draw a card, then discard. Then, finally, you'll look for Demonic Consultation. With Demonic Consultation or Tainted Pact, you'll exile your whole library, and after your exiled library is gone, or after your library is exiled, you'll use Hapless Researcher to sacrifice himself to draw a card. Whereas you won't have a card library, you'll win the game. This, like I said, is the most slot efficient deck for Food Chain, I believe. You don't have to have the multiple allies for the win con. You don't have, and that's really the biggest one, because General Tazri has been a fantastic tier 1 deck, but this deck takes away multiple slots where it allows you to put in other cards to help speed up your combo, to help speed up your mana ramp, or to help your interaction. Or in this case, like with Rakdos Charm, allows you to be more versatile in your responses. So why is Rakdos Charm in here? I just want to go over it real quick because I love the card. It allows you to kill someone who's trying to win with infinite tokens. It allows you to kill an artifact, which is fantastic anytime. And it also allows you to exile a graveyard. Now this could be exiling a graveyard for an opponent who's trying to win off graveyard, like say Flash Hulk, or it allows you to exile your own graveyard. So say Laboratory Maniacs in your graveyard, you can then exile your graveyard, then use Pull from Eternity to put it back in your deck, to cast it, to win. So that's why it works towards that versatility of being useful for other opponents, as well as useful for your own win con. And that's it, guys. I hope you like the deck. I'll link the deck list in the description below. Feel free to comment and ask me questions or give me any advice for how you think the deck could be better. I usually try to get back to everyone pretty quickly. And that's it. Good luck. And I hope you guys enjoy this version of Food Chain.